The Nomiki Show.
This Postal Service story, because it kind of freaks me out. You know, as we're sitting here defending the Postal Service and the postal workers, and the union is a great union, simultaneously, there's this story that breaks saying that the Postal Service is covertly collecting data on people's social media posts. Now, like, okay, what does that mean? Well, turns out there's an arm of the Postal Service. Of course, right? This is classic America.
The Postal Police. The
Postal Police. Did you know about them? Did you know that there was a law enforcement arm?
I don't know what they do, but no, you see them in DC every now and then, like in a car. They have like two cars, you know?
They have two cars, you said?
Yeah, like you'll see like a car that's marked like the Postal Police hanging out outside like the Postal like Service headquarters or whatever, and you're like, whoa, they have their own police force.
So I'm curious, and I don't know enough about this, and I guess we'll just have to look into it. If the Postal Police it's a different union from the regular postal workers, and if they're part of the police union, because this is insane. And I mean, I'm not really sure how this is even legal or what it falls under, but the details of the surveillance effort, this is in Yahoo News, known as ICOP, literally you can't make this up, Internet Covert Operations Program, they have not been made public, right? But they're trolling through social media sites to look for what they deem as inflammatory. And this is including planned protests that are happening, especially internationally and domestic. I mean, I'm very curious, like, is this, they say that they're looking at Parler, and of course, Parler's back on Apple. I don't know if you guys know, but it's back on iTunes.
Parler's back.
Parler is back. Parler's back. Welcome back.
Parler.
Welcome back. Yes. And Glenn Greenwald, of course, in opportune time says,
quixotic fashion.
Yes. Just, these are the issues that we have to prioritize defending Parler. There are a lot of problems in this country, guys. A lot that do, by the way, impede on free speech and civil rights. I'm going to say Parler defense, probably not the most important one to go and put your energy into. But I mean, what's your take on this? This is the Biden administration.
I mean,
are they just
my
becoming
take on
sneakier?
This is evolving as we speak. Number one, Democrats love spending money on needless surveillance stuff. So I don't like them sort of, getting wind of this program or using it, any of those things. I don't think it matters who is in office. We have a national security state that, knows no bounds. But coincidentally, and it's only been a quick Google search, it seems like this division of the Postal Service was formed, interestingly, in 1971, probably at the height of COINTELPRO, stuff and people worrying about Vietnam records, besides civil rights activists. I'm saying nothing of that. So I do think that this is one of those things that was birthed with a nefarious notion in mind, and I would challenge anyone to say what we do need these things for, right?
Also,
instead of saying,
were they going through your mail? That's the other, back then.
What it certainly sounds like it. It sounds like going through your mail, and that is just one of those basic things in America that you don't have to dig down too far for people to be like, hey, that seems wrong. I'm not into that.
Unreal. Unbelievable. Well, I can't wait for Josh Hawley to take it on.
Yeah. Yes, exactly.
I'm sure that's going to happen.
Deserve.
Champion of civil rights. Arun Chowdhury, host of The Committee. The Committee, excited about this. It airs, when's the first episode's on?
May 3rd, 3 p.m. Eastern Time.
May 3rd, 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Of course, you will be on the week before to promote it more. We'll do some teasers because you're going to pre-tape some of this stuff. And I'm really excited also because it's right after May Day. So I'm sure there's going to be elements of that as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Or Labor Day, as we call it in Europe. We don't play that nonsense, making up a fake Labor Day to defang the whole thing,
We do too here, guys. Just to remind everybody, you are in Berlin. So that's another aspect that's pretty powerful. Arun, always a pleasure. We will see you next week. And in the meantime, just set your clocks because we're going to have a Monday show, guys. I know a lot of you complain that there's nothing on Monday. Well, guess what? We've been working on this. It's been a secret. Arun Chowdhury, contributor to the Nomiki Show on Thursdays, political filmmaker, formerly first official White House videographer under President Barack Obama, and was the creative director for the Bernie Sanders 2016 campaign, does a lot of international work. But now we can call him the host of Bum Ba Da Bum. I don't have shofars and all these things that Sam Cedar has. So let's just pretend that that's there. We can add it later. The Committee Program with Arun Chaudhary, which is going to air right
here. That's right.
On Mondays at 3 p.m. Arun, what is this? Explain this graphic. I love it.
Look, I mean, we immediately, I think when you and I were talking, we're like, it's nice when you come on the show. It's good when I can talk to you about international issues. And just talking about how the progressive American audience doesn't necessarily have a lot of information coming in from the rest of the world, especially from their brother and sister parties all on the center, left, and left all over the place. And so I think we're hoping to really give an interesting perspective on the growing solidarity that we hope to see and help and blossom across the Atlantic, across all the oceans, because let's be absolutely clear, there is a community of right-wing parties. Yeah. They do exchange techniques. They do exchange money. They do talk to each other. They do have a project. And on the left, we have our factions and we have our satisfaction with being right. And I don't know that we always put it all together internationally the way that we should. And I think the other thing that'll be interesting, I think our show will be familiar to anyone who watches any show, guests and facts and things and learnings. But I think we're also going to be telling things from a practitioner's perspective. So getting a lot of filmmakers, artists, people who make things in politics to talk about the nitty gritty of how they're actually made. And unlike your show, we will be crunching lots of different segments together into one program that we'll put out weekly. And it should be a lot of fun. I'm really excited to get started.
We're super excited. I mean, this is, we have all these conversations just offline. Like I'll say, what's happening in Greece? What's happening? You'll be working in Italy and you're telling me about an amazing leftist woman candidate who's running and she's like the AOC of Italy. And
Caterina Tironi. Yeah, we have to have her on. She's now the head of the Young Democrats.
Which has a different definition here, right? So and putting that up against like the far right organizing and the different factions of the far right in Italy, and how when you say there's an international network, I mean, Steve Bannon had a monastery in Italy that he was like recruiting people to run in the EU elections. And these are conversations, maybe they get touched on really briefly or you read about it in Jacobin, but you want to really bring out the context and deepen it. And it's not just an audience in the US. I mean, people from all over the world can tap in and this is a space. But can you give us a little bit of a preview of the first episode? What you're expecting?
We'll see on May 3rd, right? Yeah. Yes. So May 3rd, the first episode. The first
May
one
3rd,
we will be talking.
May 3rd, just for folks to be very clear. May 3rd is the first episode. All right, we'll be promoting
it. The first episode, not May 1st is the third episode. You could conflate those things very easily. I could see how that could happen. No, we're going to do a lot of cool things. We're actually going to have a conversation about Cinque Stelle, who are a sort of hybrid right-left party that spectacularly rose to power in the mid-2000s and has spectacularly this last week kind of faded finally off the map after I think what many folks thought was interesting, either an interesting red-green alliance, between environmentalists and people who are anti-establishment and pro-equality, or a very scary red-brown alliance in which you do have people asking for a minimum wage who maybe aren't crazy about immigration, et cetera. So we're really going to plumb to the bottom of that. Then we'll have an even more fun segment where people are calling in. And we have some kids calling in from Holland and from New York City who have campaign problems, and we will help them solve their campaign problems. They're running for things. That's going to be called Campaign Makeover. And then we will delve into some of what's happening in Brazil right now. I think a lot of times, again, from American perspective, we're like, oh, they got a Trumpy guy down there, and I think COVID's bad. And we don't realize sort of the really idiosyncratic ways in which Latin America has evolved to where it is now. And so we'll be talking about Brazil, about Lula maybe running again, about Bolsonaro, and just if Trump wants to be loved, we're not exactly sure what Bolsonaro wants, I
mean, he's trying to bribe, or not bribe, he's trying to blackmail the U.S. government into paying them so that they don't rip apart the rainforest and the ecosystem of the entire world. It's very clever for a right-wing fascist.
It is. I think so many fascists are driven by narcissism, I think, is what I'm thinking. And it doesn't seem like it with him. He's driven by the pure evil of it.
Yeah.
And that's different. That's a little special in its own horrible way. And we'll be talking about that. What else do we have planned? I think we're going to talk about the Kuleshov effect, We're going to do
how long
interviews.
is the show? How long is the show?
It's 3 hours long.
So guys, you ready for this? It's 3 hours long. Ours is at 1 hour. Run is doing a 3-hour show, getting you everything in one show, jam-packed. And we'll slice and dice it throughout the week so people can catch it.
Yeah. We'll slice and dice it throughout the week. But those of you who like a nice big sit-down sitting, you'll have a big helping on Monday afternoons.
It'll be fantastic. All right. Well, we're going to continue to promote. You're going to come on again and we'll have a deeper conversation about the upcoming episodes. So show some previews. But let's talk about today because we got some news here. I think we're still waiting for Rep Rab. Rep Rab is always like, running around voting for things and like running out of the state house, being a legislator, running out of the state house and being like, I can't do a political show on the state house. And he has to like run outside and do these. So we'll give him a second. Hopefully he can make it today, but it's okay.
So the closest place in the White House to the West Wing that the president can make political calls from is actually the doctor's office, because that's technically part of the residence. So often you'll see a stickler president like Barack Obama, who likes to follow the rules, sort of dash off down the colonnade quickly to the doctor's office and sit like in the doctor's chair and like, call a millionaire.
Meanwhile, Donald Trump was having public events, campaign events in the Rose Garden. So totally fine. No big deal. And nothing happened, by the way. Nothing happened. Thanks for watching and listening to The Nomiki Show. But remember to click like and subscribe on YouTube and please share on social media. If you're not already a patron, please join us for as low as $5 a month on patreon.com/The Nomiki Show for early and special content. That investment makes a huge difference. We are not corporate media raking in the dough. It's really you guys that are keeping us going. So please consider being a patron. And to our current patrons, thank you so much. We are incredibly grateful to you. We also now have swag. So check us out on thenomikishow.com to get your mugs, your totes, and your stickers.